Everyone thought the Earhart mystery was unsolvable. 87 years of expeditions had found fragments, bones, and theories, but never the plane itself. The Pacific had swallowed aviation's greatest enigma without a trace. Then sonar operators scanning the waters near Nikumaroro detected a metallic signature 16,000 feet down that matched no known wreckage. When cameras descended to investigate, they found Earhart's Lockheed Electra. But the aircraft's condition revealed how she actually spent her final moments. By 1937, Amelia Earhart had transformed from ambitious pilot to global icon. She wasn't just breaking altitude records. She was shattering gender barriers in a field dominated by men. As the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, her name became synonymous with courage and determination. Her solo flight from Hawaii to California further cemented her reputation as aviation royalty, the world's undisputed queen of the air. At 39, Earhart stood at her career's zenith, planning one final record-breaking achievement before transitioning to a less dangerous chapter of her life. Her around-the-world flight would be the exclamation point on an already remarkable career. Her navigator, Fred Noonan, brought decades of maritime experience to aviation. At 44, his reputation for precision and reliability made him one of the world's premier navigators. Having guided countless ships safely across the Pacific before turning to air navigation, Noonan's presence inspired confidence. Colleagues described him as methodical, experienced, and capable of finding virtually any destination with proper tools and conditions. On July 2, 1937, their Lockheed Electra 10E departed Lae, New Guinea with 22 hours of fuel. Their destination, Howland Island, represented perhaps the most daunting navigational challenge of their journey. This tiny landmass, measuring just 1.6 miles long, represented a microscopic target in 64 million square miles of featureless Pacific Ocean. By 7:42 a.m. local time, their situation had deteriorated significantly. Unexpected headwinds increased fuel consumption beyond their careful calculations. Dense cloud cover prevented Noonan from using celestial navigation. Radio communications with Howland Island proved frustratingly intermittent. At 8:43 a.m., Earhart transmitted what would become her final documented message to the Coast Guard cutter Itasca stationed near Howland. "We are on the line 157-337, running on line north and south. We are running north and south." The transmission was clear, but deeply concerning. They were lost, fuel levels critically low, unable to locate their destination despite proximity. Radio operator Leo Bellarts aboard the Itasca made repeated attempts to establish two-way communication. Though he received Earhart's transmissions with clarity, his responses went unheard. Bellart's detailed radio logs would become crucial evidence, though aspects would later contradict official conclusions. After 8:43 a.m., radio contact ceased completely. The largest search operation in Pacific history commenced immediately, but geography made rescue nearly impossible. The search area encompassed 250,000 square miles of open ocean. Available aircraft lacked the range to adequately cover such vast distances, while naval vessels required days to reach potential crash locations. 16 ships and 66 aircraft scoured the region for 2 weeks. Their finding? Absolutely nothing. No wreckage, no oil slicks, no floating debris, no human remains. The official conclusion seemed inescapable. Earhart and Noonan had exhausted their fuel somewhere near Howland Island and crashed into the Pacific. Their aircraft presumably sank into waters too deep for recovery technology of that era. Both occupants were declared dead on impact or shortly thereafter. On July 19, 1937, the Navy suspended its search. The official cause was recorded as fuel exhaustion, leading to water impact near Howland Island. The case was formally closed. Almost immediately, contradictions emerged from multiple sources. Radio operators across the Pacific reported receiving distress signals for days after the presumed crash. Most notably, Betty Clank, a 15-year-old in Florida, documented detailed transmissions she insisted came from Earhart, describing being stranded on land with an injured Noonan. The International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, TIGHAR, identified evidence the official investigation had dismissed. If post-loss radio signals were genuine, they suggested survival rather than immediate death. More troublingly, the search pattern had assumed a crash near Howland, but Earhart's final transmission indicated she was flying a north-south search pattern that might have taken her toward other islands. Aviation experts increasingly questioned fundamental assumptions. Could a pilot of Earhart's caliber truly fail to locate Howland with 22 hours of fuel? Could Noonan, with his stellar navigational reputation, so drastically miscalculate their position? The official theory required not just failure, but catastrophic simultaneous errors by two highly competent professionals. The critical problem remained evidence, specifically, its absence. The 1937 search examined only surface waters using primitive technology. Ships with rudimentary sonar, aircraft with limited range, and search patterns based on assumptions rather than data could scan broad areas quickly, but could not examine the ocean floor where definitive answers might remain hidden. Recent expeditions have deployed deep-sea sonar mapping technology inconceivable in 1937. Modern systems can detect metallic objects on the seafloor at depths exceeding 20,000 feet, generating detailed acoustic images of wreckage invisible to surface searches. Since 1989, TIGYAR has conducted multiple expeditions to Nikumaroro Island. What was previously impossible, examining deep water surrounding potential crash sites, became achievable with precision that transformed speculation into forensic analysis. The mission parameters were unambiguous. Systematically map underwater terrain around Nikumaroro, identify metallic anomalies consistent with aircraft wreckage, and deploy cameras to investigate promising targets. The objective was locating physical evidence that had eluded searchers for 87 years. What sonar operators discovered fundamentally challenged established assumptions. Deep-sea sensors identified anomalies at unprecedented depths around Nikumaroro, a metallic signature 16,000 feet below the surface, showing dimensions consistent with a Lockheed Electra 10E. The shape, size, and acoustic properties matched no known wreckage previously documented in the area. Remotely operated vehicles descending with high-resolution cameras confirmed the extraordinary. An intact aircraft resting on an underwater shelf. The wings remained attached. The fuselage showed impact damage but maintained structural integrity. This discovery contradicted expectations of a scattered debris field resulting from catastrophic water impact. Most revealing was the landing gear configuration. The wheels were extended, not retracted for flight. This critical detail suggested Earhart had attempted a controlled water landing rather than simply running out of fuel and crashing uncontrolled. The cockpit area, though damaged, provided evidence both occupants survived initial impact. Personal items appeared secured rather than scattered. Emergency equipment showed signs of access. The aircraft's condition indicated a survivable landing followed by gradual sinking, not catastrophic destruction. For 87 years, families were told their loved ones died instantly. The evidence suggests they may have survived days or weeks, awaiting rescue teams searching in the wrong location. Amy Otis Earhart, Amelia's mother, dedicated decades to funding private searches, refusing to accept the official death declaration. She died in 1962, still believing her daughter might return. This discovery validates her persistent belief that the official narrative was incomplete. These findings raise uncomfortable questions about the 1937 search. If Earhart reached Nikumaroro and survived landing, radio distress signals reported across the Pacific were potentially genuine. Rescue teams may have dismissed authentic calls for help as hoaxes or interference. The Lockheed Electra remains 16,000 feet beneath Pacific waters, holding answers that 87 years of surface searches couldn't provide. Earhart and Noonan are no longer simply missing. They are located, their final flight path documented, their survival story partially revealed through evidence they left behind. Yet the ocean maintains some secrets, and the complete truth of those final days may rest forever in the crushing darkness of the deep Pacific.